Okay, so we come to our third and final question because I think we're losing our daylight here. And this one comes from Yvonne. And her question is, I'm very new to social media in terms of using them to build your brand, quote unquote. I have created a Facebook page for the company and I'm reading posts on Twitter and LinkedIn on a daily basis. My question is, how do I use social media to become an international luxury brand? We currently are a locally branded company, or is social media the wrong route to build a luxury brand? I appreciate you taking the time to share your feedback. Always enjoy your posts. Yvonne. So, Yvonne, you're actually asking me two questions here. One of them deals with building a brand online and using social media. Is that the right way to do it? The other one is focuses more on the luxury brand aspect of it. So, in terms of using social media to build a brand online for a business or whatever, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, you build your brand with every interaction that you have with your market or your potential market. So whether that's a customer, a potential customer, a vendor, a neighbor, a passerby, anybody. I mean, really building your brand is building your reputation, building your image, or clarifying it and then reinforcing it. So any kind of mode of communication or communications channel that you want to use to accomplish any of this is going to work as long as you use it well. So if you're not creating a dissonance between who you really are and what you want people to think you are, then I think you're going to be doing a good job. So it really doesn't matter whether you focus primarily on the customer experience inside the store and really good decor and a fantastic shopping experience, or if you also focus on print advertising or television advertising or building communities through social media. It really doesn't matter. It's what works for you, what works for your clientele, and what you think is going to work for your particular objectives. If you're trying to communicate who you are and increase your reach quite a bit, then definitely, if you think that you can reach a lot of potential customers in the right way, with the right type of messaging and the right type of tone through Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and blogs, absolutely do it. So now we come to the question of luxury brands. So you are a luxury brand whether you're on social media or not. So if you're still trying to become a luxury brand by using social media, then perhaps you aren't a luxury brand yet. You're an aspiring luxury brand, but that luxury status, right? That image, that reputation, that kind of that category is not something that you're going to find necessarily in social media. So I'm kind of going on a limb here because I really don't know anything about your business. I don't know what you mean by luxury. I don't know if you make luxury watches, if you're a retailer of luxury goods. I don't know if it's luxury services. I don't know if you consider luxury to be something that's very high price point or something that's very high quality, like an artisan, like handmade timepieces or handmade soap for very affluent people. So I'm not really sure what you mean. And each one of those different types of quote-unquote luxury businesses will have very different needs. So I want to be kind of cautious, and so don't take any of what I say too seriously. Just kind of take what you can use and then throw away the rest. But typically a luxury brand is a brand that's going to have very specific attributes. One of them being very high price points, and the other being a certain degree of exclusivity, so that your clientele is exclusive, so that your products are difficult to get by. It's not something that you can go to the local Walmart and buy, no matter how high the price point is. It's something that you're going to be able to get only in boutiques or authorized dealers or distributors. So there are barriers of access there that favor more affluent clienteles. So already, what you start running into with that type of market and that type of positioning is that because social media tends to be a little bit more democratic and low cost in terms of marketing, it really lends itself more towards everyday products necessarily than luxury goods. Now, it doesn't mean that luxury goods and luxury brands shouldn't be represented in social media. One of my favorite tailors, Smalto, which you can't really buy at the mall. Usually you kind of have to go to their own boutiques and buy their stuff, and it's kind of expensive. so I can't afford to go there very often. They're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. They've actually responded to me a few times when I mentioned them and said thank you. So so it's smart for luxury brands to be in social media. I just don't think that it's realistic necessarily to expect that a social media presence, there's a dog barking, that a social media presence, okay, so the bit of caution here is that where, even though you can, I just want to caution that typically with luxury brands, what you have in terms of superior service and community service happens at the point of sale. It happens inside the store. It happens during the shopping experience, where you go in as a customer, you're treated amazingly well, people know your name, they shake your hand, they treat you like a king, everything is done for you. They bring you tea, your stuff is tailor-made, very carefully wrapped and packaged and sold. So social media is kind of a also, don't think, especially in the luxury market, don't think of social media as an alternative to print advertising. With luxury brands, what you have is a lot of money being spent in magazines, and very specific magazines, to create an image, to create an awareness that fits into that world of the luxury brand. And so if you don't have the budget for that, and you're using social media to compensate, then you're sending mixed messages. You're sending the message that you're a luxury brand, but that in a way you're kind of cutting corners with your budgets, and you might not be able to afford very expensive marketing campaigns. And that isn't to say that that's a bad thing, but just be careful that you don't send mixed messages, the wrong message, to your audience. That's one thing. Also, with a lot of luxury brands, what you'll find is that less is more in terms of information. There's a certain mystique about luxury brands because they're exclusive and because they're hard to get. It actually works to play hard to get. And so, if you're not particularly responsive, if you keep those barriers of entry, those barriers of access pretty high, and it's kind of like the velvet rope, the red carpet, the VIP pass to get in. That's going to catch the attention of folks who are looking for that ultimate kind of luxury and VIP kind of I have to be in the club to get in experience, and that works extremely well with luxury brands. If you make yourself too available, if you're out there kind of knocking on doors and saying, here we are, we want to be friends with a bunch of people, you're actually doing the complete opposite. You're giving people access to something that, in theory, they expect not to be able to have access to. So that can have essentially two different effects. One of them is a lot of people will go, wow, this is so refreshing. We finally have a luxury brand that is all-inclusive and that isn't exclusive, right? So that's nice. But then you have the exclusive crowd who would probably spend more money than the first crowd we just mentioned, who is going to say, well, if they're that inclusive and if they're that open, maybe they're not really a luxury brand, they're just a high-priced whatever. So so be careful with social media. Definitely look at what other luxury brands are doing and what they're doing well. Maybe even reach out to them. I doubt that you're going to be a competitor of theirs because they're kind of spread out. You have watches, you have cars, you have yachts, and perfumes, fragrances, and clothes, and so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But reach out to them and ask them what's working and what's not working, and how they manage their online presence. That would be one piece of advice. But probably the most important thing is to really work on clarifying exactly, because I don't even know, and maybe you're doing this already, but if you're not, look at how well you're communicating, how well you're communicating what your brand is, what your value is, what it is that you do. I know specific companies that focus only on watches, specific companies that focus specifically on shoes, or on bespoke tailoring, or on ties, or on jewelry, or a yacht, or cars, or whatever. Sometimes a luxury item can be food, it can be a dining experience. So, so you really need to understand exactly, very specifically, what it is that you're into, what is your niche, and be able to absolutely say, be able to say without a doubt, we are the best in this because, boom. Is it because your stuff is handmade? Is it because it's very hard to get it? Is it because the experience of shopping with you is absolutely amazing? Is it just the little blue box? What is it that makes you special? Think of like the top 3 things that make you not just an expensive brand, but truly a luxury brand. And if you can do that, then whatever you do, whether it's print advertising, whether it's your presence at trade shows, whether it's sponsoring events or TV shows or whatever it is, or even having a presence in social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc., will kind of be driven, I think, by that whole strategy of trying to clarify what it is that you do, and letting people who are interested in that one thing find you and come to you. That's it, I guess. If you want to send me a little bit more details about what your company does, then we can revisit this, and maybe my answer won't be so scattered. All right, thanks a lot, and come back tomorrow. We'll have some more questions and answers for you the rest of the week. All right, thanks, bye-bye.